Okay, the name of the character is not Cyber Chase, so what we want to do here, I want to make sure you know, I don't have this font, so you might, again, I apologize on that, but I don't download fonts, but it's Computer Critter Chris. And sometimes you might want to add it on a different, you might want to add the words on a different layer, just because if you put it all in one, you lose some control. But definitely with something like this, I would, maybe put on a separate layer itself. Now I'm going to move this up. Well, actually, leave it there. I'm going to hide it. I think what we need to do here is I'm going to duplicate the background. I want to create like a floor look. So I'm going to drag this new layer icon, and then I'm going to do a Control T, Command T if you're on the Mac. Oops. Let me turn off this proportion real quick. Well, there we go. I'm just going to hold down the Shift key. They changed some of the settings here with the new version of Photoshop. And really, it's harder to read this way, but that's okay. What we're going to do here is just simply go up to Edit, Transform Perspective. I'm going to take this bottom portion and move it out. It's going to create that perspective of a floor. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to make this little area darker as it gets back so we can create some depth to this. So I'm going to hold down the Control key if you're on the Mac. I'm going to click on the thumbnail of the image, and then we're going to create a new layer right above it. I'm going to use my gradient tool. I'm going to go black. Let's do black to transparency. And then what I want to do is I'm going to also experiment with the opacity and maybe the blending mode a little bit. Typically, you could overlay will bring out more of the color, and instead of being black, we might try again like multiply, but it might be too much, so that's where we reduce the opacity down a little bit. Okay, so what we're doing is we're creating that look that it's standing on the floor. Now if you do that, then you want to move all your other layers down. And so I'm going to take my move tool, and then I'm going to move it down to here. And of course that makes adjustments for your text as well. Now with that said, there's some issues with the legs down here. They're not lining up perfectly. So with your USBs, we want to clean that up. And where the arms are coming in play, you really want to connect it, not have it on top of each other and so forth. I see around the monitors, I believe, I don't think that's the background, but let me just hide it real. Well, I don't know, maybe. No, I think that's white around that monitor right there. Just make sure you clean that up. And there's a little bit at the corner as well. And then eventually what I would probably do, I wonder if we can take this keyboard let's see, transform, we do a little distorting. And then just kind of make it a little bit different so it kind of has the mouth come out. Maybe we do a filter liquefy on this, and we basically use a big size forward warp tool and brush, and we kind of push down. Now what we want to do is, because you have a mask, you click on the mask and then you go back up to filter and just choose the first command. It'll automatically repeat what you just did. Something like that, maybe, to create a little more of a mouth look for it. Definitely would help out, for that. And then see with the text, then I would probably move Computer Critter Chris up here. You definitely want to use a big bolder font. I forget what yours was originally. course that went too large, but which is fine because sometimes you have to adjust it accordingly. Um, and sometimes, again, this is where you start experimenting with styles. There's different styles out there that can work. I would go out on Photoshop and I would definitely do some research. Photoshop, layer styles, computer oriented maybe. And what you can do is you could download layer styles. You can find different. Well, let's see. Let's put in Photoshop. Let's do type instead. And I would probably go in type effect layer styles. I'm trying to get in there to find some different styles, and like here, creative Photoshop text effects. Something that is, some of these websites might not work, but hey, you could download free styles, and the key is finding a style that works with that style that you're working with. Something maybe sci-fi ish. And what you do is you download it and you load it into your styles panel, and definitely will help out in the